we discuss a lot about Internet of Things and so many other new technologies where non-computing devices are talking to each other, right? I mean, if not human beings talking to each other was enough. What happens to managing people in those scenarios?
So it's interesting that you talk about Internet of Things and of course about HR itself. So this timer is going off and I find I have only 8 minutes 36 seconds. So I'm reminded of a small incident way back in the early 2000s when we were doing the NASSCOM conference in Bombay on HR. It was the annual conference. Devang had organized it, and he had given HR a small room in the in the basement, literally, and it was the most overcrowded room. So you've given 10 minutes for HR itself. I hope in another one of these sessions you give us much more time, just to make a point here. But as far as the Internet of Things goes, I think I would like to divide organizations into 3 phases. Those that are working on the conception to design phase, or the design to the prototype, then the prototype to the customer, and then the customer to the scale. And I think human capital challenges will vary in each one of the 3 phases. So if you take the ideation to design, at that time I think it's going to be very critical for us to create multidisciplinary teams. And these will have to be teams with hardware knowledge, so product engineers, software knowledge, so your programmers, algorithm, data modeling, all of that. People who have deep insights into the market and industry, channel interfaces, product management, marketing guys or girls. And finally, of course, those with user interface as well as understanding behaviors. So your neurologists, your anthropologists, your psychologists, apart from behavioral science. So you have multidisciplinary teams and you will have to start creating them, which we've not been really used to. But that's going to be one of the first challenges. It's not enough if we just create them, they will have to perform. And performance in this context will have to really be 2 things. One is collaboration, which is tough because everybody is silo-based many times. And second, of course, is innovation. Not rocket science, but for collaboration, I think it's going to be very critical to have teams and individuals in teams who don't only have the depth of knowledge, but also have a breadth. Because it's only with that breadth that you will get appreciation of another person's domain. And that appreciation is going to be at the heart of respect.
So, just follow-up question. So the world of specialization, it's over? I mean, are you saying that generalists
No, you need depth, but you need appreciation as well. And you may have connectors who bring that appreciation, but without that, you won't have collaboration. And for innovation, of course, you want people who will be able to connect the dots, information curators, so to say, as well as a lot of perseverance, because like King Bruce's spider, there'll be so much of failure that you have to stay in there. Communication also is going to be critical, and not the stereotype communication, but people who are able to communicate ideas to different types of people in different methodologies. The second phase is going to be all about the customer, because you have the product and then you want to take it to the customer. So customer centricity, which means swiftness, agility, all that we heard about, learn, relearn, all of those, learnability, etc. Also, I think we need individuals who are comfortable working in a beta world, because response times have to be very, very fast when you have to be customer centric. You see a bug, you have to fix it, and you have to send it out even if it's not the best fix. And many of us are in this analysis paralysis. So that, so tolerance for ambiguity, and that is going to be. And also I think managements will have to rely on the intuitive intelligence of such teams, rather than on consultants and venture capitalists and things like that. Because these are multidimensional teams. And so you must also trust them. Third, of course, is taking it from the customer to scale, which is all the classic things: managing scale, managing execution, managing risk, and managing diversity. So I think this is what I see as far as the Internet of Things and human capital challenges go.
Interesting. Let me throw another question to all of you. How many of you swipe in and swipe out when you go to office? Okay, this is again, okay, minority still, not bad. One of the things that technology is doing, and when we talk about future of workplace itself, work from home or work from anywhere, how do organizations or individuals cope with this new work environment? I mean, if you want to go hire someone, they will say, I will do my job. Why do I have to come in to office to work and all that? So what are the challenges?
See, I'm a great believer that if you set up good systems and processes, behavior will follow. Okay, that's been my core belief, and I've seen that happen many times. But I think when you're saying something like working from home, which is, go green, the old model of, not having to travel too much to work, the public sectors had it all done in India, in Bangalore. I think there are 3 key stakeholders, and each of them have a role to play. So employees have a role to play, the managers have a role to play, the organization has a role to play to make working from home really successful. As far as employees are concerned, I think at the heart of it is you have to have a good intent. It should not be for goofing off. It should not be for moonlighting, like you see some of these ads and things. It is for the purpose of working. So I think intent is important, otherwise you will kill the... Second is that you have to have discipline. And many people don't have it. Discipline of space, discipline of time, discipline of, setting the ground rules for family, or even if you're sitting, in an office, co-sharing location, wherever it is. Third is you have to set expectations. You have to say that I will not be available between this time and this time. These are my blackout times. State that up front. Now, the worst thing is that somebody rings you up, you're working from some other place remotely, somebody rings you up for something and you're not. Those kind of things are really hits at the heart of credibility. And finally, of course, you must deliver. Because I think in India especially, there has been a culture of rewarding for effort and not for result. So, that I think is important. So you have to have a whole system offered. As far as managers are concerned, I think the important and the core thing is trust. You must trust that the employee and this whole system is going to work. And there are enough examples where people have actually, there's a very interesting example, and there are many more, of course, but where this was a Chinese travel website, where they said for the next 9 months, we will go out and give so many percentage of jobs from work from home. And they found that those people had a 13.5% increase in productivity. They actually got extra work days. Job satisfaction was naturally higher, and attrition had come down. So you must trust that the employee is, so you shouldn't be constantly kind of looking over the shoulder. Same thing applies to managers. They must reward for result and not for effort. Again, I believe that a lot of managers are cowboys, and the last 11th hour they decide they have a deadline. They look around for whoever is available in the office to do something, and then they reward that person, whereas the person who has really clocked in and done time is left in the cold. So you have to manage your own schedules, your own deliverables, and ensure that people are getting rewarded for results. And third is you must communicate with remote workers. They are lonely. They tend to feel alienated. So encourage them to come in, to be part of hangouts, to be part of group meetings, all of those. And listen if they have a problem, and if there is an alignment or misalignment. I think that's important for managers. Companies have to do all the classical things. They have to ensure that the policies are in place. Sometimes I've heard companies which had a work from home policy, but suddenly when it came time for promotion, they said that nobody who opted for work from home will be considered for promotion. Yeah, these are real-time issues when the rubber hits the road. So these kind of things can be complete derailers. So the culture gets killed, leadership by example gets killed. And finally, of course, so you have to have policies, you have to have expense budgets for people to do up their own systems, their own office spaces. And of course, in the West, you have litigious issues if your workspace is not, up to. And of course, you have to have the whole philosophy of ensuring that the organization marches to the beat of telecommuting.
Thanks, Seema.